Oh, just like that, huh? Oh, okay. And we're live. Despite the inclement weather, everything seems to be stable. I hate how there's an ad in my chat window. Like, oh, come on. You mean? Hello, blue scales. Check, check. One. Okay, okay. My mic is a bit far. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's listen. What is up with the world? There we go. Oh my goodness, I didn't lock it. Bit larger there. Settings, lock. Perfect. Now, where were we? The wonderful man has went live, says Golden Luso. Where's the camera? Good morning, chat. Well, good evening on my time. We're starting a little, yes. Yes, 20 minutes late. But, what can we say? Who is this? We have Litsus in chat. My goodness. I was wondering where you were. You're quite quiet over at the Discord. Ooh. Let's see how we look at Angle 2. Angle 2 is a bit better. Well, for Twitch at least. For TikTok, not so much. Hello, SFC. Midas. Those says it's deep in the evening. Well, if you are from where I am, you should know how bad the weather is. It's absolutely yes, absolutely yes. Raining cats and dogs. It's bad. There's a lot of floods, there's a lot of this and that. I found your content on TikTok, says Neko Thunder. Your boy. Well, welcome to Twitch, where the view is wider and the frame should be higher. Well, no, sorry, the resolution, yes. Good evening, I'm back. Napping the entire afternoon. Well, if that isn't a productive way to spend your post lunch. I'm way in Australia, says Zado, but it's also bad weather. There's a storm. There is a storm here over at the Philippines. My electricity got cut for a day because of the rain. It was awful, says Floroform. Yeah, I know how bad that can be. That is why I invested in a... what do you call it? That emergency power station? Yes. This is right. The full view. Rain. Oh, sorry, TikTok. Not a fun view, is it? It's raining, so enjoy the rest. Yes. New Avi for the coin man. No, it's still May. No, it's not a generator. It's a huge power bank, essentially used to power the room. How many kilowatt hours was it? 3, I believe. So you're streaming here again. The metal railings don't look cozy. I figured I'd stream here because it's a reflection of how wet the weather is over at the Philippines at the moment. Well, if there was only a way I could expand my chat because it's a bit narrow. There we go. That's much better. A little sacrifice on the preview, but at least I can see more of your messages. Typhoon? Yep, it's pretty much a typhoon here. Ah. It's a nice world. It's soothing. I suppose. Gebus, you're looking cute today. Thanks, Golden. I try my best each and every day. Also, my apologies. I was not able to stream yesterday. I had a bit of a cold, or I'm not sure what it was, but my vision started going bad, and then when I went up to lie down on the bed, I had a nasty case of the wobbles. Things were spinning. I had vertigo for a day. Thank goodness I had those little chewable tablets that, well, they alleviated the symptoms to a certain degree. But I took it as a chance to go rest. Like, I could have streamed yesterday. But what if I relapse, right? I'm good that you feel better-ish. Of course, Beth. I am probably 80% recovered. There's just a little bit of this and that upstairs, but it should clear up soon enough. Big move, asks Sayartas. Yes, also hyping, dude. The big move. To those of you unaware, I'm actually raising funds. Yes, after a year of streaming, I am properly aiming for a goal. I am moving into a bigger apartment. For many years, I have been stuck in a apartment the size of, well, most bathrooms to you in American homes, with the bathtub. It's like 13 square meters. So here I am sitting underneath my bed. It's just a loft bed, a bed for two. And then directly in front of my bed is the door to my bathroom. And then I can also see my kitchen and my sink. And then the door outside of my apartment. That's how small my place is. So, a few days ago, I went and talked to the building admin and said, hey, do you have any units that are available? And then, yeah, there's a proper one up. It's like a 2-bedroom thing. And said, how much? Oh, it's 3 times your rent. Oh, 2.5. But I was like, okay, and can I get it? So I've committed to getting it. The thing is, the renovations are expensive. I have to replace the flooring that is, well, what is the proper term in English? It got rained on, and then like mildew and mold, the color black thing started forming in between. Yeah, I have to get that fixed. I have to get the windows that are very rusted. Yeah, it's iron bars for windows. With old glass panels also replaced and fixed, and among other things, buy furniture, buy a mattress, which is surprisingly really expensive, a bed frame, and this and that, a whole lot of things, and then have to pay 2 months in advance and a security deposit, which is essentially 3 months. So we're looking at a couple $1,000, and I've seen streamers fundraise, and I figured, why not take a stab at it? And I am still really embarrassed about asking money from people because I guess I just grew up in a manner in which you should have a mindset of not burdening other people with the challenges you encounter in life, regardless if they have more resources than you or not. So this is very much a lot of getting used to. So yeah, there's that. The thing is, I have tapped into some of my savings in order to do the move, well, part of it in advance, whatever I could afford. So far we have ordered the AC, we have ordered the bed frame and the mattress and part of the flooring. But I am still going to need your help if you want me to complete the bigger move. Also,
You're not
chat.
burdening us.
Oh, what's this? I heard bear. You're not burdening us. I I am getting conducted by the damn. Am I? Hold on. Sorry about that. So I'm not burdened. I feel like I am. I'm like man, it's so hard to explain. Shucks, but as my friend said, graciously accept it and just express your sincere gratitude. And that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much, Beth. I know you have project on your own too, and you're going out of your way to help a guy with this housing situation without really needing, a good reason to. So I appreciate it. Thank you. You don't need to be embarrassed at your job, says Litz. That's the thing. Oh man. All right, I'll just say yes and thank you. I'll stop it. Sold a bad FJ40, so I got enough money to finish my Yes, now it's all a matter of effort and time on your end. Yes, I'm happy for you. I don't want a cabinet with stains. Oh, chat. The biggest benefit is if we complete the fundraiser. Well, regardless, if I get to move to the new apartment, my play space is gonna be enormous. It's around a 4x3 meter space. So the streams I can do for you, the content I can offer, is going to improve a lot in the dynamism of it. Have you ever seen Geb walking around properly, not just one step left and right? I can't even take a step forward or backward with my little coffin-shaped play space. So, yeah, my current play space is around maybe 3 feet by 5. That's it. How much is the rent? Asked Pink Dew. The current rent that was given to me, including parking, is 17,000 pesos per month. So, roughly translated to dollars is 50 something pesos, so 340 dollars per month. It's a huge jump from my current $150 per month. For the Westerners, having to pay an extra 150 or 200 per month isn't much because you make that pretty much in a day or two. For the Filipinos though, remember our minimum wage is around 700 pesos. $10 is 500 pesos, so $14 per day. So imagine. Hi there, Neon. You're doing great. Thanks, Pink. I'm doing great only because of you guys. Thanks to your help, you're making all of this possible. Really, I can't do any of this without you. I can't stream. I can't deliver content to you. I can't have conversations with you this way if it weren't for you. Remember to pad the walls, keep plants and Legos away. I actually do plan on padding the walls with this funny polyester panels that should deaden the reflections of my voice. There was a lot of echo when I was walking around. Liz says, I get it, especially with Asian parents and acquaintances. Auntie's trying to slip you money and then your mom goes at you like a hawk saying you should give it back. Precisely. Any money you receive if you're in an Asian household, your parents will take from you for safekeeping. Yeah, sure. This live seems interesting, says Ishida. Is there a movie to this or a game? This is called VR Chat. I'm just here in game chatting with you. Hold on, I feel like I missed a whole lot of messages. All right, we're going up. Health comes first. I agree with Vest. Don't gamble with your health, chat. I walked around for a few hours with a broken leg and arm. Would have been a lot less worse if I didn't try to walk it off, as the school nurses told me. Seal is asking if I'm better too. It's very much in sync with where I am, rainy. It's very much rainy here too. It's water damage. Black mold is bad. The building admin should be doing the repair. Nope. The repairs falls upon my shoulders. Zwiffy says, reminds me when I moved out for the first time. It was my previous boss's place. I needed a place to stay in the city while I study. So I got a 7-meter squared closet as my bedroom. Good times. I know how it feels. You're not burdening your creating content. Sadly, I can't donate. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Only if you can. Live in a dorm, 2 by 3 meters large. I know what that is, those little rooms. Digging the more dragon-like look. Ironically, when I first logged on, I thought you were a velociraptor. I get it. It's the side view. Oh, and my right controller just decided to turn off. Why again? Buddy, we need to talk about this. Either that or I need to start using my index controllers more. Do you live in the Philippines, Gebos? Yes, I do. I'm somewhere here at Metro Manila. The environment that you see outside of me is pretty much indicative of what is really happening IRL. It's raining cats and dogs here at the Philippines. There's a storm if you check your local weather maps. Okay, controller, come on, buddy. Wake up. There we go. A very busy city. Oh, it very much is. Trust me. You need to be careful, Gib. There's been a trend with the right Pro Control destroying itself. I know. I'm surprised it hasn't bricked itself yet. Well, what can I say? Just gotta live with it, I suppose. Completely breaks and I'm forced to use the indexes. Which I hope does not happen anytime soon. Hello, Spike. Luckily, the walls are pure black. Hello, Buster. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the little fundraiser I'm having. It's Geb moving into a bigger apartment so he has, a kitchen separate from his bed and a bigger play space. The better to entertain everybody with. Yeah, Pink, it's nuts. If you're a foreigner coming to the Philippines and then you don't have a Filipino friend guiding you, expect the taxi cabs here to con you out of your money. Oh yeah, there's that. Yes, I'm Filipino, chat. Hopefully it doesn't happen anytime soon. Same here. Really, same here. I hope not. Hello, airplane. Why did you decide to change the skin? I don't know. I looked in the mirror and I felt more good looking in this form. Yeah, there's that. The controllers just explode. Well, with the recent warning is that your right controller is getting warm. Please put them down immediately and let it blah 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 for 5 minutes. Probably. Thank you, Hayden. Man, I'm kind of thirsty. Sorry. Don't mind me. You travel other sides of the Philippines? Nope. What is your favorite drink? If it isn't fruit juices or teas, you're probably gonna find me enjoying some nice crisp cold chocolate milk. Can't go wrong with chocolate milk, really. I mean, it's it's just plain delicious. Right. Thank you. C2. When I was in college, C2, the brand of iced tea that was popular in the Philippines, or C2 red and C2 yellow. One was apple and one was lemon iced tea. It was something you would see everybody drinking, even more so than Coca Cola and whatnot. Unfortunately, it was very high in sugar content, so I'm glad I never really picked up on the habit of consuming so much. I wish I could say the same about my friends, though, who are now diabetic. Thank you, Zane. What are you doing? I'm chatting with you. As you may notice, I'm actually taking it easy today. It's a very, very lazy day. Sorry, TikTok. There it is. Now you can see me. Or Twitch, this may be weird. I am absurdly zoomed out, and there's a lot of negative space here behind me. I don't like the taste of C2 green. Me neither, Neon. It's kind of strange. I'm addicted to the Nesquik chocolate powder. The same. Before it was, I think it was Milo that I imbibed in a lot. Not so much in Ovaltine, it was more uncommon. But I always remember having the Hershey's chocolate fudge bottle dispenser thing in my pantry. Quest Pro. E2 green tastes like chemicals, I assume. Probably isn't just as smooth as the other offerings, that's why. Wow, Pink. Interrogating me all of a sudden about which achievement I had in college. Well, I graduated from an art school. I was an animation student. Funny enough, I wasn't really able to use much of what I learned from there. I think 90% of the knowledge I'm using, the practical ones, they come from YouTube's. Did you have a favorite snack when you were a kid? Also, Deadpool, a bit late, but thank you for the bitties. Um, Favorite snack? That would probably be Chips Ahoy. Yes, I like me my chocolate chip cookies. And if we're talking about local snacks in a bag, that would probably fall on this thing called Nova. I'm not sure you guys know what Nova is. Nova is corn chips, and it had cheese on it. It was absolutely delicious. Oh no, it wasn't corn chips. No, it was a multi-grain chip. There, all sorts of stuff mixed in. It carried over to how he sets up the shots. The way I set up my shots is, well, predominantly influenced by games, like cutscenes and whatnot. There's always an Indian guy on YouTube who has a solution to every problem. I do not disagree with that fact, especially with technical related issues. How did you choose your design for your Avi? Well, I looked at it and I closed my eyes and imagined myself in it. Like, how would this avatar base look like in Geb's image and colors? Bam, that's how I did it. Why, hi there, Matthew. Been a while. I saw your post in general. 16 hours in VR chat, huh? It reminds me of the first time I was in VR chat, well, the first few months. I too would spend all day on it because I really had nothing else to do. I wasn't playing computer games, I was just in VR chat. So, yeah, now I have clips to edit, things to plan, like the apartment and whatever social media posts I'm supposed to post. A lot of Blender and Unity work, as you may be familiar with, so I can't spend as much time in VR chat as I used to. But whenever I do have a surplus of free time, you do know I hang out with my friends, just like you, right? Game shots are effectively movie style cuts and shots. Yes, I picked up a lot from playing Metal Gear and a bunch of Hideo Kojima's work. I really admire the guy. Do you feel better? I feel better. Not perfect, but better. At least I'm not dizzy anymore and I can actually read your messages. What's your favorite video game at this moment? I've been playing a whole lot of there's something that I can't mention. It's an online game, something about dogmas and dragons. Howler and Vesper. I think Action just picked it up too. For someone who's new to VR chat, what can you do there? Asked Ludicrous Seal. A lot. Oh my goodness, a lot. Socialize. Horror games. Interactive games. Puzzle games. Or simply just admire the scenery of the myriad of worlds available in game. There's surprisingly a lot of things to see. One of the most common things you can do with your friends is this thing called world hopping. It's essentially where you go discover, well, worlds with your party of friends. I think a big bulk of where conversations get prolonged when you are in VR chat, no, rather hours gets prolonged when you're in VR chat, is when you strike up a conversation with somebody you click with. So here you are in a public instance, mirror dwelling for an hour or so, and then all of a sudden somebody approaches. You hit it off. Your vibes, you know, your vibes just go well together. Next thing you know, 8 hours, 12 hours has passed, and then you say, oh my goodness, sorry. My trackers are about to die, or I need to recharge my controllers. I hope you don't mind if we talk with my hands being in an awkward position, right? Yes. But finding such things is not particularly common. A rarity, if I may put it, even. I sure am, Shiny Bean. Is this your balcony in the new apart? Oh, Howler, look. The size of the balcony of my new apartment is only until here. It's quite literally the width of my shoulders. I think it's just so should be wide enough so I can jump out of it. All the way down to the street, 5 floors down. Yes. Don't worry, I'm no fool. I'm not jumping that high. Is it raining? There it is. It really is. Raining cats and dogs. Lizards, fishes, and dragons, too. Lit says mirror dwelling is probably the most I do in VR. And playing pool, too. Litz, next time we hang out in VR, you have to go with Vesper, me, Howler, and Matthew, probably. And we need to do those funny horror worlds together. Given that you have around, well, a week remaining. Let's go discover some new horror worlds together. And Axiom too, yes. I don't know, Pink Dew. How about you go speculate on that question of yours? What I do have are a lot of unsolicited DMs. And I mean all sorts of bizarre stuff. Project Fear? Not really my cup of tea because you get separated from your friends. I'm looking for horror worlds in which things are synced in between. In desktop. Congratulations, sort of. What's the most bizarre thing you have been sent? It was a request involving licking and whatnot. I promptly blocked the person before I could finish the rest of the paragraph. You see, it's not only girls that get weird messages from strangers online, chat. Oh, man. Good night, Neon. Congratulations on your coding. Did I do what, Matthew? Oh, no. No. You know, yesterday, there was a person in my Discord server. They don't chat at all. I think they have 2 messages prior to saying, hey, Geb, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, what? And then, can I go boop? Also, Foxy, thank you for the coins. My goodness, what is that? But yeah, so this person said, Geb, can I boop you? I said like, no. One, I don't know who this person is. Two, they're not active in my community. So I posted a video about me explaining personal space. And you know what they did? They left the server and like, okay, man, good riddance. If you're in the server with expectations to do things with me, don't. Don't be there. I'm close with my friends, or people I call friends. Strangers? Arm's reach. It says I never even played Dead by Daylight because it looks so nerve wracking. Only seen one horror movie. And what better chance and time to play horror than with your friends here in VR Chat? Beth said, yeah, I don't know about horror worlds. I tried Phasmophobia in VR. Tried to punch a ghost, does not work. That's why ghosts are scary because you can't use conventional weaponry on them. Oh, BMQ. Salamat, Catherine Joyce. Fresh grad. Any advice for new grads, kuya? Don't be afraid of working from the bottom. Unless you're a genius with a lot of factors working in your favor, then you can choose the path of an entrepreneur. But for 99% of us out there that just came out of school, you will have to start from the bottom in rather draconically structured businesses. Ah, yes, because you're new, you're the intern, all you do is make coffee for the bosses and da. But funny, well, lucky enough, nowadays more of the companies, the startups that are present, actually are pretty nice to new hires. Being civil is the least you can do when DMing. I have a plethora of indecent requests, pictures and such back before meeting Gebsin since I'm a girl. Nowadays, at least for me, it's can I have your avatar? Can you make an avatar? Can you off you? Ah, yeah, the scammers. Ugh. Nikki Val is asking, should I go into debt paying 30K to learn automotive technology at a trade school? Bad life advice. No, you shouldn't. What you should do is invest your 30K in buying a new vehicle that you really like, that is within budget, and then you disassemble it. You learn it piece by piece. So that's how suspension smells like. That's how you learn the trade in automotive technology. Mad life advice, chat. Hello, Misty. Wait, we got a raid, really? I didn't even notice. 1 minute ago, Misty has dropped along with 50 other people. Will you look at that? A very rainy day for us both, Misty. I'm just glad the power hasn't gone out, in all honesty. But yes, welcome, Raiders. I hope you've had fun with your resident streamer of choice. What has he been up to? Let me guess, VR chat. You've been typhooning. Okay. Hope you're safe too. I'm okay. I'm in my little concrete fortress. Beth said, is that bad life advice? After all, I just buy old cars and have no formal knowledge and still get them. You know what? That's true. I learned a lot of like motorcycles by tinkering with them, disassembling them, and well, in general, seeing how they work and how they blow up. What's this? Misty said I was doing a bit of Minecraft. Ah, okay. One time, I hope you've been having fun. The last time I played Minecraft was a few weeks ago. It was with Vesper. Hi there, room. Geb, don't jinx it. Oh, right. I need to greet my fellow Filipino viewers. Maulan na gabi sa inyong lahat. What did that mean? A rainy evening to all of you. Wow. Talk about subs. Not just one, not just two, not just three, four, or five. Mr. Beff here has decided to open a whole Amazon box worth of subs, all accounting to the nice sweet number of 20. Thank you, Beff. A bunch of names over at my chat now have access to using some of the rather, now that I think about it, old emotes that I have. But yes, Beth, thank you. Really, thank you. That's a lot of subs. Help people avoid the ads. That's true. Oh, I completely forgot about that side benefit. So, when you are subscribed to a streamer, you don't see their ads. When you don't see their ads, you tend to stick around more. Beth is in a spending mood today. I think it's not about Beth having a spending mood per se. It's more of like he was going through his pockets, like maybe scratching an itchy thigh. And then a few coins fell off. And like, you know what? That can like go to whoever. That's what happened. And late in particular is getting a sub too. Congratulations, Nova. You look very different. Nikki Val said, I got hit with 5 ads when I asked for bad life advice. Funny enough, my ad revenue per month is $7 or something. I was like, if I could just turn it off, I would. What mic are you using? Oh, I'm just using some wireless gaming headset for a mic. Flavored Ruffles. Yes, spare money so I won't spend it on more coffee machines. One coffee machine in Beth's place, the one he has on Ion, is probably worth 3 months rent. Or no, not even. Coffee machines are surprisingly really expensive. 4 or 5 months worth of rent. Just so we could make a better cup of joe. One of these days I will sneak the coffee machine in our local hotel nearby and bring it home. I don't want to talk about how much the 2 espresso machines I have. Look, man, you're talking to a guy who sometimes just eats instant noodles when I don't have food. Or the most luxury I get when it comes to coffee and drinks is the sachet kind. Have you ever heard of like 7-in-1 coffee? It's unusual, I know, but it's kind of good. I just found a converter into wireless, so I might try that as well. I was considering a wireless headset for VR maybe as well. Any recommendations? Well, you can always get the Quest 2 if you're in a budget, Howler. Or get the, you know what? Why don't you just go jump in and get the headset with face tracking, right? When I don't have food or I'm too lazy. Oh, no, Howler. That was when I was sick and when I was sick and the cons of not having family around you is you have to take care of yourself. My cat can't buy me food outside. It just so happens I got sick for a few days. I did not have accessible help. And, well, that also meant that I could not go 3 floors down in order to get food delivered to my place. They don't deliver to my door, they deliver to the lobby of my apartment. I was too sick. I had the flu, I think, bedridden. So all I could do was muster enough strength to go heat up some of my emergency food. And that emergency food is the cheapy pack of noodles. Canned goods are very expensive. I need to put budget into that. So yeah. Your voice is disappearing. What do you mean? I have a big drawer of instant noodles. They are tasty and cheap, right? All you need is hot water. Dry throat alert. Dry throat. Chat is what late is saying true. Maybe it's audio on your end. I mean, my throat isn't in its best condition because I have a bit of a cold still, but I think my audio is just fine. Yoyan, that is the longest German word ever. I've said it once or twice. I don't think I can say it again. Sounds good to me, says Hayden, Beth, and Seal. I have a cat. He is a 6-year-old stray. Wait, the MetaQuest 3 have body tracking installed? Yes, it does. It's called IOBT, Inside Out Body Tracking. IOBT uses cameras for real upper body tracking. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that over the rain. A little help. What do you know, Matthew? Thank you. I appreciate it. I was surprised about the cost of everything I had to spend on the past 2 days. Yeah. So I appreciate the help, Matthew. Thank you so much. Man, I know it's gonna be a lot of work to get the place up and running, but I am actually excited to see how it's gonna turn out. And then the things I can do in VR, don't take it the wrong way, but the things I can do in VR, I'm not just gonna be sitting all the darn time. I might actually be able to afford a couch. Oh yeah. If and when this thing reaches halfway, at the very least, I'm gonna buy a cheap 3-person couch so I can go lie down and everything. Yes. Oh, it tracks until your waist. Yeah, that's what I meant. Upper body. Oh, you're welcome, Garrison. Lots of work, but the result is going to be the best one. I hope so. Yeah, the Quest 3 can. So you have tracked elbows and whatnot. Do you go to gyms too, Kuya? No, not anymore, Pink. I used to. I was an avid workout nut when up until midway in college, and then thesis and other subjects happened and I couldn't sustain it anymore. So all I do is exercise at home. I have my little set of weights and whatnot, but I am not in as great shape as I was before. So one of the things I'm actually going to buy when I'm in my new apartment is a set of exercise tools. I'm going to start with having an incline bench. Howler says I found a on-sale small 2-seater couch at my local store once, and it was super comfy for being so cheap. I still think about it to this day. Congratulations, Blue. Since you watch 1 hour in advance, it's stuck at a certain time during a certain event that happened. Dear Draconis, with their first time chatting, is asking, what are your pieces of cinema? Not are your favorite. Pieces of cinema? Man. Huh. Well, that's gonna take a while to fetch from the archives. I will get back to you on that question. What do you see when you're in VR with this character? What do I see? Well, here, let me reset the camera for you. Chat, I know most of you are curious about my POV, right? So, it's something like this. So, I can see my hands and everything, see my little watch, and if I look down and see my body, see my little leggies, and well, there's the environment over there. And yeah, that's it. That's where I'm sitting. Wow. City. So now you have a better idea. Yes. Point of view with Geb. What's this? Why visit Carol? You are looking for the coin, aren't you? Let's see. Somebody wants one of these. Ever so shiny. Ever so unpredictable. Take it. Your surrounding made me a bit dizzy. Selfie POV was funny. Mecca says hi. Hi, Mecca. What are you two up to? All right. Chicken. Always my vote. Go with yes. Yeah, sorry about that. What's this? Do you have face tracking? Yes, Sky. Yes, I do. He's just in dance with me and a friend. I see. Oh, well, what do you know? Libid is over here. How do you do all of this? Well, it's simple. It's the magic of VR. Wow. Upsy daisy. Liney. Sit. And we are back in position 2. Good morning, Toyota John. Wow, we're almost at our 1 hour mark, just like that. How quickly time flies. Wait, how tall are you? Asked Pink Dew. I am a humble 6'1". Yeah. I am half Chinese and I'm half Filipino, for those that are curious. 100% Asian. Could make a couch for you since you mentioned something. If you were within the proximity, I'd humbly accept it. But I think I would rather buy it and assemble it myself. I was surprised by the amount of budget needed for a proper couch. You see, a three-person couch is one thing. It's like $300 for the L couch. The one for four people is like almost twice that. I'm like, wow. I've always taken that for granted. I visited houses. Don't overdo it today, Geb. Oh yeah, don't worry. Let's 2 hours stops. Besides, it's a rainy day, and I don't think there's gonna be much people showing up. Anyhow, first things first, deniable myth. Are you around the Philippines in Metro Manila? This is what they call a VTuber. Yes. Hello, Antique. I am better than yesterday. Carpenter Subeng. you know, oh, I need. Yeah, I am always a function before form sort of guy. It's okay, Ash. I wasn't here yesterday, so I'm not sure what transpired. Says Antique. Yesterday, the other day, I got hit with, when I was streaming midway, I got hit with vision loss and what seemed to be a precursor to a cluster headache. I think what happened was I had an infected sinus, which was compressing on, well, whatever parts in my head that was making me woozy. I had vertigo. Imagine lying down, right? You're lying down. You turn your head a little bit to the left. It's like your head is continuously going that direction. It's not stopping. And then you have to wait like 30 seconds. It was very disorienting. It's like, oh, oh man. So I had to lock myself in place in bed for like half a day. Okay, I'm not going down. I'm not gonna move. I am not gonna turn left or right. And then I woke up with a very like sore throat. Hmm. It's either because of the dust and the mold from the apartment that I visited last time. My mistake wear a mask because I said I'm gonna go in, take a measurement for like 1 minute and leave. I should have worn my little mask. Hmm. That's why I keep on insisting to everybody else. If you're working in a dusty environment, always make sure to wear a mask. Hydrate. Late, I quite literally just came from drinking. So I did it in advance. Thanks. Yes, sort of like sleep paralysis, except if I move, it's. Imagine your sense of balance being on ice. As in, it's a slippery experience, which makes you want to throw up and just not exist until you start to not feel that way. Low on iron. I don't think so. I do take my multi. No, I just ran out last week, didn't I? But it shouldn't be that quick until I start hitting deficiencies, right? Thanks for the reminder. I need to restock. Surprisingly, I did not lack sleep. I actually get the ample amount of hours within a 24-hour period. So yes, I get my 8, sometimes more. Actually, I went to Tesco earlier and I bought some ciabatta mozzarella. And the other ingredients were pesto. I'm gonna try this sandwich. Ah, it could happen if you take it regularly and suddenly have none. Multivitamins, got it. I'm gonna order some tomorrow. It might take a few days until it arrives, though. I can't go to my local pharmacy given the weather. It's not only it's actually flooding outside. Deniable myth. I would rather you give me the means to purchase a couch instead of going to the hula baloo of shipping giant furniture. It might actually cost more than a brand new one that I can just buy locally. Thank you, Nightshade. Iron deficiency, says Vesper, can form over several months to years, so you wouldn't be lacking in iron from not taking multivitamins for a week, precisely. Hello, Rocky. Been a while. I mean, it's flooding outside downstairs, not on the third floor, however. I would be concerned. That's like tsunami levels of flooding. Yes, LJ, I have full body tracking. I'm just saying, you're getting beachfront property if it floods to right below. That's one way of viewing it. Yep. Except instead of nice seawater, you have sewage water. All the lovely local floating garbage and rats and what rats produce. Now, let's not forget about the roaches trying to cling on to anything that is not submerged. So you're gonna see millions of them on the walls, on the signs, on your door. Flooding is terrible here, chat. If you're gonna live in the Philippines, do not stay in a flood-prone area. That's why I'm saving up. Saving up so I can be not in Manila. Oh yeah, the road. Oh, if you know, you know, Beth. I'm a rat. Oh, well then, please don't go to my property when it's flooding. Ah, yes, flooding. The thing is, flooding here is such a common occurrence. It's not really considered a natural disaster anymore. It's more of, well, yeah, what? Water's until your chest. You still gotta head to work because your office is not submerged. I remember when I was a student, it would be common to have floods that are up until my knees, sometimes my waist, and I would still go to college. The only time classes would get cut is if the teacher themselves would not be able to make it. If you're Filipino, you should know what I'm talking about. Thanks, man. Manila is the capital city. Is the flood bad? Yes, yes, it is. You see, probably a kilometer or two to the left of where I live is nothing but reclaimed land. Yep, just like in Poland. If it snows and it's above your waist, it's just a Tuesday. That's what it is. If I change the temperature to. There we go. Cool blue. I look a little better and from this angle. Sadly, we don't have that much snow anymore. And the gamer says, whereas here in the wonderful state of Georgia, if there's a few inches of standing water, everything shuts down. Wow. Well, lucky you for having that luxury. Manila is also expensive. Hello, sister of LJ. LJ, huh? You remind me of LiveJournal. It was an actual thing back then, along when Tumblr was still alive. Tumblr, huh? So much has changed since then, now that I think about it. Yahoo Messenger, MSN, IRC, Skype, LiveJournal, Friendster, MySpace. All these old places, things on the internet that's no longer. Yeah. Hey, the good old days. Yes. I knew the internet was going downhill ever since Filthy Frank stopped posting videos, and I said, the end of an era, I see. Thus began the age of spineless snowflakes, social justice warriors. And here I am again. I'm about to start droning on about things on the internet. Yeah. Moving on. It seems Twitch chat is talking about toilet paper. Okay. I remember how bad the video quality was back then with Yahoo Messenger and Skype. Wow. Compared to now, how accessible it is with Discord and it's free, it's nuts. Today, there's so much tools of convenience. Nick Wild, huh? That's a first. That's precise. Oh my god. Back in middle school, I used to use Skype to chat with friends before we discovered Discord. I remember my twin getting in trouble because my grandma thought she was getting hacked with this mention of 420 and such. One of our friends loved to joke about. Boomers and technology. Yes. I still install Winamp. Oh my goodness. Winamp. I remember that. All of the custom skins and whatnot. I remember. Good old times. Hold on, chat. Let me check Discord really quick. What kind of name is Jahuti? There is a whole archive for Winamp skins. Ah, back then when our music was still stored locally, that is, that's when it was useful. Now it's all about streaming platforms and services Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and whatnot. You can always go give it a quick Google, Axel. Probably faster and more conclusive when it comes to the answer. Oh. Yes, LJ. Yes. Also, Beth, thank you for gifting Hayden. What's this? Gifting Hayden a sub. Man, my throat isn't really good. We're having throat candy. It's a funny Chinese candy that I had last stream. All right, have to open. Hold on. I need to unwrap it. I'm holding it by my teeth. Wait. There we go. All right. Open. Open. Where do I peel this? Oh, there we go. There we go. The tongue. What about the tongue? It's just your first time seeing my tongue move around. Because we can't see the candy, you're just holding your mouth. I currently have a hard candy on the side of my mouth, and yeah. Sorry if you can hear sounds. We need a prop for your most consumed candy. A little something that spawns and then just put it in my mouth. Yes. Hmm. Love the tongue. Don't take that the wrong way. Sure. If you say hi, electric dog. Do you watch Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon? I watched Game of Thrones until yeah. I never really watched the House of the Dragon though. I don't know. I kind of grew out of watching series that are very long. I'm not sure. I think I started focusing more on VR chat and such, and my motorcycle. Game of Thrones has been going on for a long, long while. I remember the first time when I saw Khal Drogo. To be beat by infection. Yes. Max Howler says, when you have other things to do, the long form series tend to feel like too much time has been wasted. Can I see your hands real quick? Um, it's your standard issue five-fingered hands with claws. What? Oh, are you talking about the lollipop on the shape of a foot? And then you dunk it in this packet with the pop rocks. Gage says, I don't mean to sound weird. You're my favorite VR content creator because you don't lust for followers. Lust for followers? What does that mean? You mean I'm not perving over my followers, or you have to help me understand what you just said? No, legitimately, I'm after numbers. It means you're not always begging for followers. Ah, okay. To pander. To pander to followers. I mean, you mean like how other streamers go and do nothing but pander to them, play the fool, the clown, the circus animal in front of camera. No, that's not me, chat. Or getting zapped for donations. Well, it is lucrative as they call it, but I'd rather stay true and be an actual person conversing with you than just be simple, short, disposable amusement towards the masses. Thank you. Wow. Will you look at that? Gates has showed a token of appreciation by sending over a galaxy. I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, don't get me wrong, chat. Money is very much still a necessity. How else would I put food on the table? Or buy the table in the first place? I need to buy a table for my apartment. Thank you for reminding me. I've never had one for dinner. It was always I would just always eat on my lap or on the small sink area. But yeah, anywho. When are you moving? I have actually started the moving process already. It's just I have been tapping into my savings just to get it in motion. So I hope to recoup some of the cost and I can actually spend on proper things instead of cutting corners all the time. That's why I have the little fundraiser I'm going on. Speaking of fundraiser, the cash register just made a sound. Thanks to Cypress the Wolf. Oh my goodness, did you somehow manage to scrounge for more fireworks money? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The other day I blew $600 ish on buying an AC. Yeah. It was necessary. It was necessary. But so yeah, thank you. That helps enormously. Enormously. My goodness. Howler's a set of fireworks from your new and get the police called on me again. I tried. I'm good. I will probably go buy those cheapy $50 laser modules and like because my room's gonna be pitch black. I'm just gonna have it like do that inside. Again, yeah, again, look, there was one New Year a couple of years ago where I was annoyed at the neighbors singing their karaoke, their drunken karaoke, all the damn day. And even when it's not holidays, they would play until 2 a.m. and I could barely get any sleep. So what I did was I got a little mat. Have you ever heard of piccolo? So essentially, it's like little sticks, tubes. You strike it against like a match face, like, and then you throw it. It's like mini sticks of dynamite. And of course, I threw it into their yard from my balcony. I was so engrossed in what I was doing, in my little act of petty revenge. I didn't notice the cops were called on me. I was like, oh shit, why are there patrol cars outside? Why is it flashing red and blue? Oh. And there were like 30 people outside, all looking upstairs. And I was like, oh. Yeah, totally. I just hid. I just hid. And thank goodness they dispersed. Thank goodness they dispersed. Yeah, I hope I hope they get the absolute worst. Well, look at that, Mystic. I could have sworn you were celebrating a year of friendship. Now it's 13 months. Gosh. Thanks, Mystic. Yeah, Corsairs. Corsairs. That's the fireworks. Are you telling me that during the summer and no, I am using AC, but I need a new one for the apartment. It's a week's pay and my bills are paid for the month to your new apartment. A week's pay. Wow, thank you, Cypress. It means Cypress worked hard. A week's worth of effort. Waking up, doing work, going back to bed. And then he decided to share the culmination of that effort to me. And that means a lot. I don't see money as simply numerical things being tossed my way that gets added to my bank. No. What I look at would be the things people had to do in order to get said amount. So even if I receive $1.50, I know that you put in effort, you exerted, pushed yourself to do it in order to get said money. That's why I get to appreciate it more. That's why I feel embarrassed asking people to break their backs and toss some coin my way. Other streamers are very welcoming with it. Some even have the audacity to, no, send me money. Yeah, you owe me. Where's the subs? Why aren't you subbing to me? Like damn. Can you lower yourself to earth a little bit and remember that you are nothing without your chatters, your crowd, your community? And again, there are fools that actually support these people. So what can I do? Yes, Kaysen, yes. How's it going, Geb? I am saving up for my apartment move, Mystic. It's a very effort and financial intensive endeavor. But we're getting there. Chat has been super duper supportive. Very nice. And we are really creeping towards our goal. I'm excited to get it up and running. I'm excited at the thought of rising from a bed without hitting my head on the ceiling. Yes, chat. Because I sleep on a loft bed, my ceiling, I cannot sit up on my bed there. I actually have to crawl into my sleeping space, roll around, and then that's how I sleep. So for the past, 5 years, it's been that way. Oh, to be able to sit up on a bed again. I've forgotten the feeling. this? Late says, I saw one streamer get mad at somebody donate. How can you get mad at somebody giving so little? They're already giving you something. Huh. Or, hmm, you're all little sweethearts. You better have Crash as a streamer after that. Oh, I don't know. That's why I am very picky about who I watch and who I spend time with and whatnot. If I say that you're cool and I consider you a friend, it's not something so casually thrown around. It means I probably just really like you, being around you. What do you choose, loyal or stay by your side? Isn't that the same? Humble is on the level of rarity of Henstein. Oh, I know, right, Misty? I. That's why you don't see me making any big proclamations on my profile or social medias. I see a lot of people forgetting the meaning of humility. They say that they are this and that, they are a professional, they're whatnot. But I don't really see it in the first place. I would rather have people tell me who and what I am than me dictate what it is. Right? That's why you won't see me plastering that, oh, I'm a voice actor. Or like I'm a VA in my Twitter or my VR chats. Like, no, I have no professional experience. I am not a voice actor. As pleasant as I may sound, according to some people. What's this? Vesper says, honestly, donating too little. They're just willingly giving you money to you because they enjoy your content. Doesn't matter how little, it's still something to be grateful for. Like a specific chatter is why I was still able to purchase my MetaQuest Pro. I'm still very thankful for that. Are you Connor? Oh my. Connor always lives under high stress situations. Best part of my day is your life. My goodness, it means you must be having some pretty crappy days if I'm the highlight burr. You are amazing. No, you are amazing, Leonard. Thanks. Have you been to a roller coaster? Not really. I mean, yeah, one or two, but nothing that's large. Only a very short roller coaster, that's it. Like a 10-second loop. That's it. Sileo has sent a star map Polaris. What is that? Whatever that is, thank you very much. You remind me so much of the... Here we go again, bringing up my purple friend. Yeah, Speaking of the wolf, he requested off of me a few days, I think the other day, and we caught up in chatting. I'm glad that he's doing okay. I hope he finds the peace and the quietness that he seems to be yearning for. I'm glad he mellowed down. I was afraid he would go all soundboardy the moment he joined. He only used it once, which is a big improvement. Good to see you, Lieutenant. I love roller coasters as Axel. If I were to travel to places, it would honestly be to other theme parks to ride their rides. Firefox says their day just started. I wish people would appreciate even the smallest gesture of gratitude. Stresses Mystic. Receiving that alone can brighten my day, right? Should I start watching workshops on how to say thank you? Cypress says, I never got into the social media sites, not even when my MySpace came out, and that was gaining popularity. I'm not active online much outside of Twitch or on stream. Then to have you here hanging around for a couple of hours your day is an enormous blessing then. Sorry, I'm. Ooh, oh wow, that's ice cold. Ugh, my teeth. I had to hydrate. But yeah, making friends in person is hard, says Axel. Not that it's hard, it's just that the amount of compatible people that you'll run into is probably low. You may not be aware you have a quirk that is actually repulsing other people from trying to make connections with you. May chance, just like with a lot of people I've run into, and then I correct them, hey, you know what? You stink because you're not wearing deodorant, and they're wondering why you're making friends, and they're like, what? Nobody said that. I don't stink. And I said, that's the point. Nobody told you. Either that or you never listened. And I am telling you. And you're wondering why you can't make connections. Maybe sometimes you talk too much. Ironic, here I am doing nothing but yapping. But I admit, getting along with people, social interactions, handling them, it requires a certain level of depth, of skill. You have to read the room, the other person, see social cues. When do I talk? When do I stop talking? How much talking can this person tolerate? What is the tone of the language being used? The humor, the jokes. Is it crass? Is it soft? How much do I have to go out of my own way when I converse with them? And then you have to ask yourself, how much effort am I willing to spend just to keep a connection going? Is it worth it to walk around eggshells? Me personally, no. If you get offended over every little darn thing I say, then it just means you and I are not meant to be friends. No hard feelings. You don't have to force the friendship. There's always other people that you can probably get along with more. Right? Yes, I too love spending time with Mystic. Food ordered, so I'm back. Welcome back, Beth. You're not a voice actor, but you sound so good. That's the thing, chat. You can have somebody fixing your car, but they were never really a professional mechanic to begin with, right? They're just knowledgeable about it. Nice. I would like to try that roller coaster. That is a very unhealthy to have, where you are just whoever the rest of the friend group wants you to be. What are you, a floor rug? Is that the way you want to be? Are you that desperate for attention and whatnot? Probably no. Because in the long run, can you even really call these people your friends? Can you even call it genuine friendship? That's why I hold no respect to individuals that let other people walk all over them. I hold zero admiration to those that don't have a backbone to speak up for themselves. I have no patience to people who will not sit down and think first before speaking. Peace and love. Sure. I am always indebted to you. So in return, thank you. Indebted? What have I done? Punk. Punk. What about punk? I say it every now and then. Beth said he ordered lasagna with beef shrimp and parmesan reggiano and that sounds delicious and filling, man. Vesper says, oh, well, Mystic says, I'm gonna get a nap in because there's a slew of ton in events. Mystic, you are a busy person that needs to be in 4 places at the same time. Please get your rest. Thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you around when you're free. Now, going back to what Vesper said, she says that she'd rather not get stepped on. It's why I'm willing to help those I'm close to. But at the same time, I'm not your therapist. I cannot fix your problem. Yes, that's true. Late says, looking how I try to be the best side of myself from all sides. I think I only have a single real friend that likes me, even with my sharp edges and imperfections. Yeah, you hang on to that friend of yours. Cypress says, I wish Shady Tree mechanics was still a thing. The vehicles today require to understand a computer program to understand the problem. And the equipment needed to scan for the problem is very expensive and only found at dealerships or corporate garages. I know what you mean. Like, the sad thing is, most of the things needed for cars to run properly are not open source knowledge anymore. Unlike back then, as you mentioned, yeah, you just work on one carburetor, you know how the rest is pretty much. Here, no. Even if you know how the mechanical part works, if you're software locked, oh, what can you do? Same here. I mean, us as, well, bike owners and cars, I'm sure we all know how to at least change our own tire, lubricate our own bearings, make sure our chain is proper in slack and alignment, checking the tire pressure, making sure there's no water in your gas, this and that, replacing your oil on your own, which is frankly therapeutic when I do it. It's just whenever I go drain the oil and then put in a new batch, like, it's like giving my engine a bath. Happy birthday. Just another day in paradise. Well, a rainy day, that is. Man. You know what sucks, chat? Because it's raining as hard as it's raining right now. It means the apartment that I'm moving into is actively collecting water on the flooring again, and I have to wait for that to dry, and I have to bleach the darn thing so the mold dies. The plywood and the sealant that I ordered hasn't arrived yet and will probably be delayed because of inclement weather. So it's gonna be minimally flooded in the apartment. Time to bust out the mop, I guess. The check engine light just makes your dash look pretty with an old Honda. mm-hmm. Yes. Rocky is studying psychology. I wonder if Mystic went to. Oh, yeah, right. She said she had to go. I'm glad to have a friend like Mystic. He's one of the few that's been there since the start. Vesper says, nowadays Grandpa gets an error message in his 2024 van and asks me to help fix it, and it's a Google away to fix. Ah. Yes, Casey, the weather here is pretty
I may be busy, but that don't stop me from seeing blueberry and cinnamon bun.
Thank you, Mystic. I hope the day is as lovely as you are. What's this? Late Nova says, when you have a friend you can be open about everything with, that's when you know you should hang on to them for life. Mine knows about me being a furry, that I'm not straight, and even about every single problem for the other way around. You need to complete that equation. They may know about it, but do they talk to you about it? I assume they do. I think for me, there's two types of true friends you can keep. One in which is a holder of every page of secrets that you have in your life. The other is a brother or a sister who will not hesitate and die for you, regardless of the differences you have. I have a lot of the latter kind of friends. Like, we rarely talk. We have common ground, but not on everything. We don't see one is to one eye to eye. But our loyalty to each other is so strong, our bond so concrete, that you know you can trust this person with your life. And they will have your back regardless of reason. Are you Filipino? Yes, I am. Sa tingin niyo ba't maulan dito sa paligid ko? Bumabagyo sa atin, di ba? Baha nga eh. Can I die for you na? uh, how about you go help me get a couch first before you do any of that? It sounded like dragon language. Oh, now this is just me speaking Tagalog. Sobrang maulan. Kailan kaya ito matatapos? Ilan araw na ba? Hindi tuloy ako makapagtrabaho dun sa bago kong bahay. Saying, it's really rainy. I wonder when it's going to end. I wonder when I'll be able to go work on my new apartment. Yeah, Blahay. I said Bahay. You sound like my teacher. Okay, I hope he's a cool teacher. Yeah, I would. Yung mahirap nga lang kasi doon, yung binabayaran ko kada buwan, halos triple yung kailangan. Minsan nagdududa ako kung masusustentuhan ko ba ito o hindi. Siguro kailangan ko lang magtrabaho ng mas maigi. You're from the northern part of Luzon? No, This is considered the north. No, I'm in central, like the heart, the butt end of the Philippines, Metro Manila. Is this just your hobby? No, this is pretty much my living at this point. This is what puts food on my table, Chad. Thank you, Zolt Ostrich. I love the environment that's calming. Oh, you mean this raining cityscape behind me? There, so you have a better view. What kind of dragon are you? A well mannered one. Yes. It seems Vesper's internet is about to go. The rain, the conversation, the vibe overall. It's quite relaxing. Well, I'm glad you're getting that effect. I know most people are just bored the moment they see a stream like this. No bells and whistles. Nothing fancy, really. Either shop out. Yes, I am moving to the fifth floor to a bigger unit to have more play space, and I have a bed in which I will not bonk my head against the ceiling with when I wake up. Good morning. My router is having mood swings. Ah. Pero dun pa rin siya, Siopaw, sa parehong building. Ibig sabihin, makakabwisita ka ulit doon sa susunod. Kasi meron ng proper space at lahat. Yes, I always hit my head when I wake up. And I was like, when I go to bed, not today, ceiling, not today. And then I wake up, you got me again today. Yes, buwisit. Ano ba yung dati? I was wearing all my trackers. I was wearing my old clothes, the house clothes. And then, Kamiko Siopaw here messages me, or like on Discord, like, Geb, I'm downstairs outside your apartment. Like, now? Can I visit? Can I visit, big bro? It's a shop. I'm like, sure. Next time. But I'm already here. What? Oh. I can't be rude, okay? So I let Siopaw in. I was midway playing VR chat with Vesper and others. And then she showed up and she went up to my room, saw how VR is, and yeah, it's nice though. I was so surprised to find out one of my online friends was quite literally just walking distance away from where I live. Chopa knows the secret of how Geb looks behind the screen. Don't pester her for messages, okay? She's not gonna answer. Pasensya na masikip yung last time. Next visit if you want. It's gonna be better. Ferns? What's ferns? I'm afraid of war. But we need war. Wait, I sure Beth said something about me going up in life. Geb is moving up in the world, both in apartment size and locations. Yes. I shall make that really crappy place a not so crappy place soon enough. I can't wait to finish the renovations and then share the images with you. I will show you where the fundraiser went. Worst fear of every gooner on the internet, says Litz. Job applications. Man. Didn't you have to struggle with human interaction just the other day, Litz? When you had to talk to this person about the thing you were getting into. So I know. Yami will be able to have zoomies. I know, right? I bet my cat's gonna be really happy with the space increase. I hope I will have enough energy to finish my own dragon model, says Neko Thunder Up. You got this. Yes, the pussy man. Why? Because my cat is a guy and he's a cat, so a pussy man checks out. Pussy man. Bought a new wardrobe for over $300 for the cabinet that opens left and right, and then that's where you hang clothes in. Wow, whoa. Yikes. I've only had one online friend live in the same city as me, says Nova. Sadly, we don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. 300 must be enormous. I used to work selling custom wardrobes, says Max Howler. 3K was like the minimum. 3K? Do you know how far I can go with 3K? More than half a year of food. 300 USD can do so much. 300 USD is enough. Is it enough food for the month, Shopao? It should be. It should be more than enough. If it's purely in terms of food and water for a family. Yes. I'm so thirsty. My goodness. Mm-hmm. Ah. Oh, it's so cold, my teeth. I'm drinking peach juice and it's really... It came out of the freezer, chat. You know how a drink is borderline ice? Like you look at the bottle, the edges are covered with the sharp sheets of ice and the middle is unfrozen. I'm drinking that unfrozen middle part. Lit says, I'm just sitting outside in the garden and grilling with my fam. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Living in your idyllic paradise, fresh nature, butterflies, ladybugs, and chirping birds, unpolluted air, and the soft kiss of grass on your feet. The loved ones and free food. Yeah, happy for you. Meanwhile, on the ass end of things, I finished the shower. Good. Where is that? Hold on. Let me just unfriend Litsa real quick. Ban from server. There we go. How long? Forever. There we go. After stream. I am in fact at work. I'm just waiting to take over for another cashier, says Vesper. Oh, who? I was just joking, Shopao. Litz is a new friend of mine. She likes flexing that she lives in paradise. Thank you, Jevin. But she's unfortunately gonna move into the city for reasons, and well, good luck with that. Oh boy. I give it X amount of months. Have a good day, Ves, says Matthew. Take it easy. Don't mind brain rot customers. Oh, yes. I learned how to cook, says Rocky. I made a magnificent dinner. A magnificent dinner I am unable to taste, unfortunately. Is this VR? Yes, it is. Yes. I am planning to move to either Spain or the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic? Hi, Gib. I'm new here. Hello, Octavia. Boy reasons. Yeah, just keep making fun of me. Oh, we will. We will. We're gonna keep poking fun at you until you admit you're super duper happy. See, even Amazon here says, yeah, you did decide to move out of paradise, Litz. Matthew says, cheap rent and good quiet location, but average job payment. Even if the job payment is average, if you can buy things because things are cheaper and pay for things, it shouldn't really be that bad. Unlike in the Philippines where the disparity is too much. Yes, the food is cheap. The rent is cheap in American eyes, but are we able to afford anything that is priced in a Western manner? Not really. With 3K savings in euros, I can live 4 months till I get a job. Ooh. 3K euros. Did you know that a big part of what the fundraiser is for is a buffer for half a year of rent? It's gonna be money I'm not gonna touch for renovations or anything else. So just in case something bad happens, I get sick, I can't stream, I can't earn, I will at least have a safety cushion of not being homeless again. Being homeless sucks, chat. Oh, God. Imagine not having a bathroom and you have to make best friends with an old bucket given to you. It wasn't even a bucket. It was an old container for cookies. It was this tall and it was perfect sitting height, like a stool. Again, yeah, I was homeless before, Neko. Homeless for close to a year. Times 2019. 3K euros. That will actually sustain me for a year. Yeah. Make a void reservoir. Yes, I am Filipino. Yeah, right. As oh my goodness, it was pandemic, wasn't it? Sheesh. Man. Now that I think about it, man, how did I go? How did I make it? Each day was so uneventful. I didn't have anything. It was mostly getting along with the locals and helping them and whatnot so I could afford a little bit of food at the end of the day. Or if somebody would take pity and give me meals and cool. But yeah, it was. I got out of that chat, thank goodness. With 3K euros, I could survive for practically 3 years. Well, yeah, if I am to rent cheap, I can survive 3 years too. Vesper says, despite the dreariness of the pandemic, you managed to make it, Gab. You made it. You survived. And even if it was uneventful, I'm still proud of you for making it. I am proud of me too. I'm glad I didn't lose my mind or have it break my spirit. If anything, it made me stronger, nicer, kinder to people. When you realize the feeling of sitting by the curb, by the street, and you're pretty much nothing, man, that really puts things in perspective. Oh, don't worry. The funny thing is, late, I was never depressed during the entire time. I may have been poor, like impoverished, but what I was not poor in was spirit. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, I had hatred in my heart for the person who screwed me over, but that wasn't the thing I focused on. What I focused on was how nice the people around me were that I met during that time, who were struggling too and barely anything. Conversations with drivers. What do you call these things? Do you know those little bicycles used to ferry passengers and it has three wheels? Yeah, drivers of those, the bottle collector, the scrap collector, the guy selling bean curds with like a bamboo stick across his shoulders with two little buckets on each end, the local lady selling home cut barbecue and and whatnot, the old lady who would let me use her faucet despite me being embarrassed about it. Or yeah, lots of kind people, you mean. Yeah, like a rickshaw. We call it a pedicab here. Instead of the it being one wheel in the front or like it two in the back or something like that, it's a normal bike with a sidecar. It's a normal bike with a sidecar and it's usually covered. Ah, well, thank you, Rocky. That's sweet of you. Hold on, let me scroll up because I think I missed some messages again. Whew, alrighty. Matthew says, so Arctic's happy that he's getting lower. Matthew says, I plan to buy a house here in Ireland. Save another year, move out to wherever it was the plan, leave that house to earn money from rented house while having a new studio for me and boom. Get a second-hand job and have two salaries. Life goal achieved. New headset, new desktop, new life quality. What's this? It's good. Hold on. My mouse was in the way. It's good to see that you kept your head up against the adversity and issues you've got. You got a great template and well, yes. So don't take things that you have for granted, champ. And whenever somebody decides to help you, thank them. Thank them from the bottom of your heart. Beth says, my plan is to retire and then vanish into the woods with my camper car and internet. I think that is a life goal of most of us. I too would wish to vanish in the mountains, like the mountain woods, where I wake up, it's nice and cold, and I can smell the air that will make me live to 300 years old, and yeah, and still have internet and my amenities. One day. Yes, Eb, a new model. Oh, it's just my new soap, Drake. Axel says, my life goal would be to live the rest of my days in a place similar to Litz's. Right? Same here. I that's perfect. You have a nice, not old looking house. It's surrounded by beautiful countryside, but the roads are still nice and maintained. You have internet and you have solar power. Oh, yeah, that's like end game right there. I'm good. I'm good. Then again, I sort of understand Litz is wanting to move on because end of the day, it isn't really her house. It's her parents' house. I set out to make my own story as well when I was young. The moment I got out of college, I well, I got a job and I just decided not to go back to a house, which made me feel nothing but strangled. Like, it's a very common tale. I'll try my best. I'm sure you got this, Rocky. I'll rent my room to anyone just for the cheap price of 20-piece chicken nuggets a day. 20p? That's kind of steep. That's like hotel room price. I got it off Gumroad, Broken Ghost. Oh, okay. That's something else. Man, now you're making me crave for nuggets. Oh, delicious, delicious, delicious nuggets. Man, all I have right now is some chicken, but not nuggets. Rocky sent me a very sweet message. Thank you. Nothing to see here again. What did you guys? I'll tab right now and look at my Discord.
I love you.
That a notification. Thank you, Rocky. Oh, you really want to open that can of worms, Blue Scales? I can condense it for you, though. I saved up. I saved up to start a business. While in the process of saving up, I befriended people. Fast forward a year or so, the funds was there. We started the thing. Except instead of insisting to have things written on paper, the agreements, the shares, and everything, all I did was trust them and shake hands. Because I'm a very by honor person. Lo and behold, that kindness of mine is what got me into trouble. And, well, the end of the day, underhanded deals started happening. Questionable things were happening to the inventory. Clients weren't contacting me and they were bypassing me. And in short, they were slowly seizing everything I had until I was left with nothing, even the place that I was staying at. So it was back to zero. And I was given very short notice of it. And long story short, be careful of the people you trust, chat. I'm not gonna go delve into details anymore. Maybe when I get to know you more better, chat. Not something I really wish to talk about here in public. If you heard my story before, if I opened up about it on stream, back then you know. They were just bad people. Don't blame yourself. Oh, trust me, I'm not kicking myself over it or anything. I take it as a very expensive lesson in picking the company that you should keep. Oh, yeah. Rocky, you should go to bed. Get some rest. Yes. I have 180 likes. Thank you. Mechanical Goldfish. What an interesting name. Good luck in high school, Nova. I'm gonna head out now and eat. You know what? That's true. I have 15 minutes remaining. I'm not gonna overextend today's stream. I will see who I can catch up with in VR chat after stream. If not, then oh well. But yeah, there are a few friends I need to see. Matthew says, crying is not a sin or bad, Rocky. It expresses how much honesty and true feelings are. You're awesome, champ. Are you just chilling? Yes, pretty much. What else is there to do? Here, have a better view of how I'm chilling. Thanks, Geb, says Nova. I don't need lockdown. Past the 2 years without touching a book. Oh, alright. I take back my well wishes then. All of the good luck that I intend for you to have vanish, and may every little equation and factor of the universe work against you. Tails too, precisely. Ain't that cool? Wait, I'm too zoomed out. There we go. I'm making scallion pancakes for dinner. Isn't that just okonomiyaki? No. That's just an omelette, isn't it? An omelette I think would eat though. Alright, Deniable Myth says, honesty, I need to get VR. I prefer physical demi-humans, though they're in hiding from most people. I mean, you talk to dwarves and elves and gnomes? Okay. Hey there, buddy, says the Norse guy. I'm proud of you and I hope you're doing okay. Keep being awesome. What a wholesome comment. I hope you are doing fantastic too, and thank you for your kind words. Oh, you guys were getting that for free for the longest time, weren't you? Naughty chat, you were keeping quiet. I'm swapping back to this camera. Ah, yes. Guys, we're getting beans for free. Nobody mention it on stream, okay? Somebody stole my money that I was saving up for VR. Man, that's tough. Damn. Well, back to zero and saving up again, Rocky. There's nothing really I can do. Sucks. Sorry to hear. I would never, says Howler. Yeah, the beans were awesome for free. They were just quick fans. Most people don't realize certain things about this world as well. All right. Cool. Man, you meet all sorts of people on the internet, don't you? I'm sure there's somebody who made a censorship pixelation shader can slap on. That is a clever thing. I need to do that. Oh wow, itchy. Best said. In the words of Sun Tzu, don't correct someone when they are making a mistake. Oh wait, that was Japanese. I was in Chinese. Oh wow, hold on, my head got itchy. Make people pay $20 to see your beans uncensored. Make a toggle. That's funny. Congratulations on enjoying your time at Six Flags. One of If there is any compelling reason for me to visit America, it's for me to try the amusement parks. The amusement and the water parks. I wonder how delightful it would be to try that water park where you exit the water slide, right? And then you go into this thing that looks like a toilet bowl, and then you have to like go in the middle and then go down. Yep. Thank you. Oh, we had that one. It was called the tornado. Ah, the tornado. Cool. Can we go back to the recent camera, please? Or, you know what? Why not? This one? This one, where it's the first person POV. There's nothing to see here, chat. It's just me, my hands. See these goods. There's my good old pouch. Watch. That's it's permanently stuck at 1245. Yep. Oh well. Thank you, Eden girl. Yes. We also had Kamikaze Fall, a 250 feet fall from a slide. Oh. I want to try that. I really want to try that. Yeah, that was $20 right there. I am gonna swap legs. There you go. Now you can't see anything anymore. Actually, you know what? No, I need to cross my right leg. I don't know why. When I cross my left leg, it's not as comfy. Oh my, Derek. Nice textures. My textures are pretty plain, in all honesty. A trip to all the big name amusement parks is a dream of mine, says Axel. I see all these rides online and I just wish I could go around and ride them all. Yes. Hello, Ray Ray. Why, if it isn't God, my goodness. Sa lahat ng tao na magre-raid sa stream, magandang gabi sa'yo, kaibigan. How are you and your party of 4? Let me guess. Mobile Legends. Hello, Tenryu. No, I'm not gonna roar. No. You got it. Well, I hope your stream went well. Oy, kasama mo pala si Verge. Right. God Verge here. These are guys I play Delta Force with. Yes, I actually have IRL friends outside of the furry fandom chat. Actually, they stem from being friends with my brother first. And, well, by extension, they too became my buddies. I'm gonna go, Sasuke. I guess I'm gonna see you during the next stream. Well, see you around. God Verge, go ahead. You get shoot it. Close my tab. Do your thing, okay? And thank you again for the rain. Ranked matches became steep real quick. Ranked on live? Man. One pint, please. Pa-order nga kami. Miss pa, ano? Dalawa pa. Dalawa. Sisig pa. Sisig tapos, ano sa inyo? Rice? Sisig, miss, tapos dalawang rice. Pasabay na rin ng iced tea. Thank you. Ayan, okay na. What's that? Late Nova says, sorry, Gab, I have to go. See you on the next stream. I'll see you around. Person from Ukraine. Good luck. Don't get balked by funny flying things that are pointy. Yan. Isang sisig, barkada size, tapos crispy pata. Hindi, tig-isa kaming crispy pata. Tapos may tokwa tenga. Yung, opo. Yan. Sarap. Are you in a restaurant? No, I was just messing around with my friends. I got swarmed by customers, says Vesper. Oh, is it a special day today over at your retail store? Shit, now I'm craving crispy pata. Oh, you know what pata is, chat? Crispy pata is essentially pork foreleg, like that thing. Think of it as a giant drumstick, like the ones you see in cartoons. So they boil that first, right? So they can get the texture of the skin perfect when they deep fry it. Oh, it's so good. You dip it in a concoction of vinegar, soy sauce, chopped onion, sometimes red chilies. Personally, me, a little bit of brown sugar and pepper. Oh, and rice. A perfect treat. You're not helping yourself with this crispy pata. There's another thing. Oh. Should I say it? Alam niyo yung bulak silog, guys? Chicharon bulaklak. So, chicharon bulaklak, sunny sides egg, and a garlic fried rice. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, baby. And then, sasawsaw mo lang sa suka, tapos oh man, that's bad, chat. Forget I said anything. Will I come out alive from that? Ano ba yung iniinom natin para ano? Losartan is just all you need. Good thing I'm eating because garlic fried rice sounds good. You know how fried rice will never fail to attract you from being hungry, because when you see it being cooked in a big wok or pan, you see the rice being jostled, right, by the spatula, like, and then you can like start to smell that aroma. Oh, and then you see like the slight browniness of the rice and the garlic. Ooh, oh man. Kasi na babanig o sartan. Okay. You save it for times when you meet up with friends and you eat the illegal things. So that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have one crispy pata each. We're gonna have some tokwat tenga, right? Tokwat baboy. And then we're going to have sisig, preferably. Yes, sisig. And then bulak silog, isaw, Betamax. Tepu says, there's a nearby Putok Batok restaurant at my place. It's located next to a hospital. Perfect. Long time no see. Hi, sir. First time to hear that combo. It's really good. Hello, Daniel. Pork belly over crispy pata. We have this meal where it's pork belly. So, it's pork belly, right? You put some herbs inside of it. And then you wrap it with string. And I don't remember what the recipe was, how it was cooked, but it ended up really delicious. But there is one thing I miss that is very simple but very delicious. Here we call it lechon. Lechon is essentially whole roast pig over an open spit of fire. And the skin, the tender meat, and then yeah. I need some ASAP. I'm going to embezzle some of the apartment funds to buy me some lechon. I'm gonna take maybe $50. I'm joking, Chan. Yeah, language. Language? What are you, Scottish? Oh, it's very common here in the Philippines. If there is a party, a celebration of any sort, or even just a gathering of relatives and friends, more often than not, there will always be roasted pig served. Gebus Rexus, says Nation. Gebus Rexus. You'll end up making the flood worse with saliva if you keep on talking about food. Oh, man. So here's what we do. Sometimes we get the lechon, right? So we have your roast pork. You dice it up with the big, that big old cleaver. And with the choice cuts of skin, a bit of fat, and the tender meat underneath, which is pork belly, we would toss it into deep, oil. Deep fry it until the skin becomes crunchy-licious. And then we have this thing called lechon kawale. Kawale, it's wok, the cooking utensil. Lechon is with the pork. Roasted suckling pig. Oh, you see, young pork is where the meat is most tender. Right? Ribs, right? Get the ribs where the herbs and the saltiness is concentrated. Man, now I am getting hungry. Random question, but what is your favorite Disney character? Good question. Hades, maybe, now that I think about it. I'm going to eat the walls. Either Grey Storm, Spartan. The sass and anger of Hades is a perfect combo. Right? This is my favorite guy. I'm glad they made him like a sassy character with the fire glowing red and everything. I know, unknown spy. You said your message 4 times in TikTok and in Twitch. Who made your Abby? Well, one, you can find the Hydra Gaia base, which is what I'm using over at Gumroad. So is the Hyanid. And so is the Nova Beast. Now, as for who placed all 3 of them together, that would be me, chat. Because I can't afford commissioning other people to do work for me. I brought it upon myself to learn and do it myself. Thanks. Hi, Gib. What happened to you yesterday? I was so confused. I was recovering from. Oh my goodness. I was recovering from feeling sick, essentially. I was getting dizzy and whatnot. In midstream, I couldn't see very well. I was starting to see vision loss. Well, get vision loss. And I said, that's not good. I'm gonna end live 20 minutes earlier than usual, and then I'm gonna take the next day to rest. I was contemplating on resting tonight, actually, but I said, that means my next stream's gonna be Monday, and I miss one stream day. And I'm raising funds. I can't let my community down. So here I am. Thank goodness my health is in good enough condition. Not perfect yet, but if you've noticed, I'm just sitting very relaxed in tonight's stream to compensate. Oh yeah, that's the story. Thank you, P. What do you do in your free time? Normal people things. Taking my fish for a walk, conversing with my bike. Beth says health is the most important. Gotta keep it good. Yes. And so is commitment, though. I know, don't worry. I'm gonna listen to you guys if it's really bad, okay? I'm not an idiot. Most of the time. Where are you moving to? Same place? Same building. Sorry, I'm gonna drink again. I'm getting really thirsty. I'm gonna be moving building. It's 2 floors up to the 5th floor. Came back for the. It is 2 hours and 38, isn't it? Oh, cold.
Time for the stream. I think I'm donating correctly to the housing fund this time, LOL.
How nice of you, Axel. Yes, you are actually adding to our little housing fund over here. And surprise, surprise. I have noticed you've been very active on the Discord, along with your buddy Blue Scales. Light, I'm sorry. I don't see the A before it, and I see Leit. So late, right? Potato, potato. And Blue Scales is still here, apparently. But yeah, thank you, Axel. It goes a long way. Promise. Arton says, well, at least you're feeling a lot better. I'm glad you took a day off because if it does get worse, it comes back, we'll be worried about you because we want you to be healthy and strong so you can go live. Yes, of course. Thanks. What's this? Do you do avatar commissions for extra money? I don't think I'm at the skill level yet to confidently accept commissions yet. So, no. I mean, I can help you with things and I accept tips from it, but I don't really have a price list when it comes to things being done. Or what did you want to get done in mind? My knowledge is very basic. Kit bashing and which I am not going to do because it's very labor intensive. A bit of substance painter, getting things working in Unity and whatnot. Just the bare basics, a few things here and there. Got it. All right. Late Nova. Late. Vesper says he dabbles a lot, but never took commissions. Still thankful that he works on mine. I make sure to give him lasagna to pay. That's true. I handle Vesper's avatar, so if you want any gauge when it comes to aesthetic and what I can execute, you just have to look at her thing. But yeah. Just to try and clear up any potential confusion, my name technically is meant to be pronounced Keebly or Keebly, but I don't really care what to say, whatever works for you. Got it, Blee. There you have it. Have you ever done avatar work with the Mayu? Oh, what? It depends on what you want done, really. Did you just want new clothes on it? One of the things I can do is making any clothing, pretty much, that doesn't have too much dangly belts, work on any avatar. For example, what you're seeing right now, this belongs to the Rexonium. The pants belongs to the Hyanid. The goggles, they belong to the Nova Beasts, which are all avatars I own. But yeah, it depends. I assume the 50 that accidentally went to the bike fund is going to the housing. It's gonna be there for a while, Axel. I don't think I am going to be attaining that. How much did I set it? At 19K anytime soon. You're the only person who pitched in. But just because I can't access it immediately doesn't mean I am not thankful for the support, really. You supported my dream bike fund. Can't get away from having at least a bit of Rex in you. Howler. So we're gonna ban Howler, right? I checked. Wait, really? There's 80? I need to check my throne. Yeah, I need to check my throne after. Thanks for the reminder. I need to see what I can do with that. I want to get a tuxedo made for my Mayu because I want him to look like an Italian mob boss. Have you perchance looked at Gumroad? Maybe an asset already exists. A suit is a fairly common thing to make, so maybe you can just buy one and put it on. I would feel bad if the 50 just sits there forever. Or don't worry, at least now you know the exclamation point tip works and it goes directly to yes. Curious, asked Meeks. What did you aspire to become back when you were little? Probably not content creation. I aspired to be an astronaut, chat. Because I think space is cool even to this day. Unfortunately, I was born with my ineptitude at mathematical equations. So I don't think that dream is gonna be possible. But you know, me being in VR chat has sated that fascination just as much as probably going out there into space, and you're gonna realize it's so crap because of the amount of protocols you have to follow and this and that. The training is bad, and you're gonna be stuck with people that you are probably not gonna be good friends with. I will wait for that 2.5 years, Rocky. Days, huh? You know, I have to look. I need to see. Oh, whoa, is that a moth? A moth with the hyena and a nova on the left and right. Good on you, buddy. Sorry, I'm looking at the VR chat category. I am curious as to who is streaming at this hour. I need to see. I need to see what's going on. And of course, I'm slapped with an ad. Oh,
Just jokes anyway. That even for the people that it's still just painful.
okay. Hot take, chat. Hot take. You want to know one of my pet peeves when it comes to design? It's when you see Nova Beasts with painted on noses to make them look like dogs and whatnot. Nova Beasts are supposed to be dragons. So whenever I see them get like a Sharpie marker and draw a nose, it looks incredibly unnatural. And like, we all know it's fake, bro. it's right? It's anywho, that's just me, okay? That's just me, my opinion. Ugh. Especially when they add like the line in the middle of the lip. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Do you know about Tomorrowland? I've seen it. It looks nuts, but I've never been there. I gotta go. Have a good evening. See you around, Neko. He's in space. He finally did it. I'll be a head in a jar in Space Jam. GC Amazing from Brazil, I assume, is saying, so Mr. Amazon Jeff blessed me with a sub. Nice, been watching the VODs lately. Happy to catch the stream. Yes, I recently uploaded 3 VODs. Sorry for not being able to upload it ASAP. I was busy. Oh man, I was busy scoping out the apartment. You see, it's not a one and done process. I have to go up have to make measurements on the windows and everything, and then have to phone my local plywood provider. Hi, can you give me a custom cut of this? It's not gonna fit. What do you mean it's not gonna fit? Oh, in the ship, can you give me half the size instead, and that'll work. Okay, cool. Yes, 3/8 of an inch. Or what? Yeah, the thickest plywood you can get. Yeah, you have to make sure it's water resistant, the marine plywood. Okay. Make sure it's not the cheap stuff that will delaminate when you know. Okay, how much? Oh, but you can't send it. Oh, because it's raining. Okay. Got it. Gotcha. Okay. And that's just the plywood part. Oh, yeah. Good. I don't even know how I'm gonna deal with the iron bar. Should I strip the paint first, sand it, and then coat the old metal, or do I just coat it with paint and then it's gonna chip off? Oh God. Yes. Axel says you gotta do a lot of talking to people. More of like I have to coordinate the logistics of a lot of things and make sure things are done in order, because I'm having a bed frame delivered, a mattress delivered. Where am I going to store it? If I put all of that inside the apartment without the flooring being done yet, it's going to be double the effort, because I have to bring it back out, put the flooring, put it back in, right? So it has to be flooring, walling, and then any furniture after. But then again, there's the plywood, there's the drilling part, because I have to drill into the wall so I can put the plywood on it. And then after that, I have to fix the electricals and then the plumbing, so my hot shower is gonna work. My hot shower is really cheap here, like $20 for a unit. I thought you were removing them, but probably refinishing them. I'm going to refinish them first, and then I'm gonna put sealants on where the rain is seeping in. I should have taken a photo. I think I took a photo. It's a quarter of a bucket's worth of water last time I checked. So there's a nice little puddle there in the middle of the sala. When you move in, will you add the way for Yami to get on and out? Nope. I mean, maybe. Probably. Now that I think about it. You need to use paint remover and sand it a little. Yeah, I have to reprime it, and maybe this primer red will do. What big move? Are you getting a fursuit? No, I'm moving into a new place, a apartment. The current one I have right now is very small. Oh, so it's not Yumi, it's Yami. There we go. Ta-da. Nah, it's okay, it's okay. No worries about that. Chat, how am I supposed to go with the viewer? Oh God, here we go again with extended streams. It's like you are gonna have to contend with me for a little shorter. Thank you, Kaz. Late says, when I actually move out, I'll probably just live under in a block of flats or one of those connected homes. Ah, the townhouses. Thank you, Mog. What? These things? It may be hard to keep vermin out and let Yami come and go. No. The thing is, the balcony Thankfully, it's only as wide as a door. What I bought was this mosquito mesh thing that I'm gonna put there so I can still let fresh wind in. I can let sunlight in, but I'm gonna keep all of the flying critters and whatnot from entering. The stream is going well. Going well. Oh, you're right. There's a bunch of you, aren't there? Okay. Wow, even TikTok has a bunch of people watching. What do you know? Surprise, surprise. I just want a tiny home, says Late. Living room, bathroom, kitchen, just the basics. I would want a small garden, but most importantly, a garage. I need a place in which I can work on my vehicles. Well, my bike, that is. For the longest time, I've always just been working on my bike on the parking lot. Yes, I have my little auxiliary lamp to provide me light when I change oil and whatnot. And my tools are all on the floor. Whenever a car has to come in and out, I had to move and scoot over. So yes. No, oh, no cockroaches and mosquitoes, please. I don't think I can manage a big house anyway. I wouldn't know what to do with the extra room. Maybe have friends live in with me. Hmm? Beth said actually that's a good idea. Change from vanishing into the woods is getting a garage to work on cars. That would be my dream. I will lose my mind if I am unable to tinker on something. Sure, I enjoy VR and the computer, but I need something mechanical to work on, an engine to sustain, to breathe life into, to tweak, tires to, yes, that sort of stuff. I'm always so surprised with how detailed you're. Please, I am more on the plainer side of things. It's just that, you know, there's a bit more detail nowadays. Can I live with you? I can be in a corner. I don't know, Rocky. We'll see. It's a fun idea, though. I'm gonna go. Gonna go orphan some friends. I love your lives. They're so peaceful. Thank you, Kaz. Kaz? Honey, I have a new acquaintance named Kaz as well, but it's Khaz, Kaz Halos. Who's a bat, the most aesthetically pleasing looking bat. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe when we get to know each other a bit better. Mog says, I moved away from Florida and I'm so darn happy I escaped the mosquitoes. And the man needs his machines. Yes. We just hit the 3-hour mark, chat. One moment. Thoughts on Boren and their club, their gore. I like them. The thing is, I can't keep playing them on stream because of the copyright things that's gonna happen. Unfortunate, I know. Have you ever built your own machines? Well, that's a broad definition. The most I've built before was, well, I built a lot. I converted a lot of gas bikes into electric motorcycles. That's what. Like high-powered ones. Chain drive systems are surprisingly much more difficult to do compared to hub ones. Mystic with a C is here. Hi, Mystic. It's been a while. Welcome. Now a Floridian left. Get back here. An inventor. A lamp. I may need a gardener though. Go get some food, Axel. Chat, as much as I want to linger long here, I'm sure I'm holding you back from doing your day-to-day things. So I will take it upon myself to go end stream soon. So you're free. You're not obliged to go watch. With that being said, consider my stream done and done, chat. I'm gonna close my tab, swipe up. I'm totally not alt tab looking at Twitch right now. The weather is in triple digits here and I'm staying. Okay. So close. Oh, look at all these e-girls I'm fighting on Twitch. Ooh. And no, I'm looking at the Twitch category of VR. I mean the VR chat category of Twitch. My goodness. Again, half of them are censored. May contain adult themes. I'm gonna click it. I'm gonna click one of the e-girls. Big streamer anniversary. The first thing I see are 2 other big things bouncing. And that's a bot. And that's the chat. We're going back 1 tab. Okay. My God. Okay, let's click this other streamer with 144 viewers. It's censored too. What is here? New emotes. Of course it's cleavage. Right behind the subtitles. Very nice model though. Yep, no, your eyes just got better. Dragon versus eagle, who would win? I'll need your fire again to cook eggs. You see me again soon, Rocky. I hear you need money for moving. That's true, Stars. Are you going to offer me a sponsorship? Geb's purity is being robbed by eagle. I'm not kidding. I'm look at the category. No, I don't know, man. If I say names, I might get in trouble. They're gonna say, "Oh my God, you're calling out other streamers. They cancel you on Twitter." I'm just looking. Okay. The top one. Let's see it with 500 plus viewers. Wow. Okay. Holy crap! She looks like she came from one of those Ultra HD Skyrim mods or something. Horns check. Doll-like skin check. What shaders is that? Damn. Okay. Motion blur check. I need to find more worlds with motion blur. Okay, I'm back. Ooh, money. Oh no, is it legit money? What did I miss? Hold on. I need to mute the stream. It is money. Star Sol Luna was not joking. Wow, will you look at that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank goodness. I appreciate that. Another sub explosion. Thank you. Hi there, Style. Me next. Rocky doesn't have access to the emotes. Kaz is still here going strong with the support on TikTok. I come. Thanks. And hearts, can I do that? Oh, there is one thing I did want to try. Oh, what the? That's what you get, Gab. Oh! I just got flung out there, didn't I? I'm back. I'm here. Whoops. Beth being the rich uncle of the street. Oh, trust me, Beth's pocket lint is actually little fibers of gold. Probably mined in the deep jungles of Bolivia. Oh, wow. Everything got screwed, my UI. Okay. Let's legitimately scroll through the VR chat category again. Okay, refresh. Oh my goodness. Is that? All right. Oh, yes, pretty eyes, got it. Somebody is fishing, okay. So many of these are censored. I wish I could see the thumbnail when I hover my cursor over it at the very least. Oh, there's a bunch of dancers online. Oh. Getting distracted. Why are you guys not leaving? Why is the viewer count increasing? I'm just alt-tabbed and browsing things. Not e-girls. Not 100%, that is. Oh. Oh my. Okay. No, I think that's your department, Howler. View count just keeps going. I don't know. Because they're enjoying you getting more core connection. You know what's funny? The last time I've had a crush was probably still when I was in school. I have forgotten that feeling of just having butterflies in your tummy for someone outright that you barely know. It's like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean, right? When you have a crush. I'll hop in VR chat. All right. See you, Matthew. Like vampire rules, you have to audibly invite them into your home. So, like, my viewer count has to go to actually 0 and then I end the stream. Ah. Style, this is called the Hydra Gaia by Tokyo Zilla. Hello, Zahir. Even TikTok is still going strong. TikTok swipe up. The stream is over. Please, it's really over. Promise. 100%. Go watch your other Mobile Legends streamer or something. But then again, whenever I see somebody with nice leggies and whatnot, I do tend to gravitate my gaze towards that direction. But it's more of admiration. Like, you look like some nicely breaded chicken. Very tasty. Oh, Kaz, my goodness, why are you keep on being nice that way? I'm gonna look for your next stream. Let's keep the party going. Oh my gosh, Beth is now on the other side. Uh-oh. Hello, Pink Dew. I didn't know you were still there. Crushes, huh? Alright, chat, tell me, what is your definition of a crush? Let me know. I'm curious. I don't think Geb wants to end stream. No. Thank you, Bendy. Nah. I couldn't sleep because of the mosquitoes, says Pink Dew. The thing is, you gotta bite the mosquitoes back. That's the solution. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba. Okay. What's this? 110 viewers. En mode emo et edgy sesoe. Oh.
En plus, c'est chiant parce que dès qu'il y a des gosses chez moi, chaque fois c'est moi qui fais babysitter, c'est insupportable. Je vais m'occuper des gosses, tout. J'en ai marre, frère. Laissez-moi tranquille. Oh non, flemme. Laissez-moi dans mon coin, j'ai trop la flemme, frère. Et c'est 132 femmes.
Ooh, that's French.
Hein. Mais j'ai pas des gosses, hein. Putain. Oh mon dieu. Ah là là.
Oui.
Faut écouter, hein, chat, on est mal barré, hein.
When you, hein?
Non, je me calme, c'est pas avec un décor parce que au début du stream, j'ai mis un décor super beau, je fais flemme. Juste en mode, t'as des décors sur.
I wish I understood a single word of what they were saying.
De l'eau, de la pluie, obscur, ambiance calme, voilà, on se fait pas chier, tu vois, genre... Pourquoi c'est autant de fausses parties? Bah, faut se plaindre à Twitch, hein. Moi j'ai désactivé les pubs, hein. Faut juste pleurer, hein. T'es tout seul, Chine? Les modos ils sont pas là?
You want me to translate? No. I'm looking at this. I was just curious.
Je peux pas dire mon souche. Yo, Anix, c'est comment ça? Merci.
What's this? 179. I think they're Japanese. Whoa, what is that?
小鬼、
Oh. No, that's Chinese. They are in a... What is that? The Tokyo Festival thing? Huh.
妹妹
Another... What's this? Another day dropping, complimenting the graphics. Absolutely. Thank you. Is that Howler? No, it just looks like Howler. It's another Rex with a suit. Oh no, is that Agumon sitting lonely? Network error, alright. Guess I can't watch that stream. Croissant. Oh. My theory for Geb not closing stream is that the Labubu Matcha Dubai chocolate trade is I'm not even gonna read the entire thing. You lost me at Labubu. Hello, first time here. How and what are you all doing? Me? I'm doing very important detective things. I am investigating subjects of interest. Thanks, Bendy. I imagine Gib talking to me like Gomez Adams talks to Morticia. Ah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. He's always so eager, isn't he? What? Okay. Now, where are we? Okay. We're on the third row now, chat. So if we get 30 to 50 concurrent viewers, all right, let's click that. Whoa! That blew my ears out. Sorry about that. I'm a baby diaper. Oh, yuck! Why would you put that? Oh my god! I'm sorry, chat. I saw a streamer. Okay, so hello. It's just black. There we go. So I saw a streamer. It was their model holding a diaper, a heavy-weighted one, as their AFK screen. It's a girl. And I checked their profile, and that's what they're into. Why would you say that in public? Why would you? Wow, that Yikes. I'm sorry. You may be lost at what's happening. So here I am browsing over at VR chats category at Twitch, and I was saw a particular streamer that had peculiar interests. Interests I want to be 500 meters away from. This. You know what? No raids. No raids today. that, that's super. That's super turned me off. Ugh. Ugh. Some people are gross. Some people need to reevaluate what they're into. Yes. Closing remarks. Thanks for joining me in today's stream. It was a bit longer than usual, but I don't mind. I missed stream yesterday, so thank goodness I didn't end stream 30 seconds ago, didn't I? Chaotic Dragon, thanks a lot. You made a monumental move to our little fundraiser thingamajig. Not really, thanks. But in all seriousness, heart goes out to you and everybody who supported me on the stream. That includes you, Beth. And who else gave? Axel, Mystic, and I wish I had a log of the people who tipped. But you know who you are. You be as amazing as you always are. And I'll catch you. I'll try my best Monday evening, okay? So, with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, chat. Oh, man. Go live for 9 more minutes and you'll reach stage 13. What? No. That's for next time. All right, there we go. Now we're done with that TikTok. The viewer cap is still super duper a lot. What do we do? What do I do? Why are you all still here? Don't you have places to be? Go shoo. Go home. Close my tab. Stage 30, I don't know what that is, but it was a TikTok goal. I should have done that. Oh man, if I was on. Anyway, as I've said, I have to check who's online in VR chat. Damn, nobody's online. Looks like I'm gonna be hopping off. I'm delaying stream again. Shoo, please. The tab. That where I don't know where your tab is. Here, tab. Click the X. Close it. You see this funny list on your this side of the screen? Yes. Click one of those. Those are other streamers. I'm sure their content is much more exciting than whatever I'm doing. And let my viewer count go below 80 so I can be free. Totally not because of vampiric rules of not leaving stream after a certain count, but yes. Do your laundry, cook your food, count your money to those that are suspiciously wealthy. Go talk to the person that you've always wanted to talk to, and what else? No. Yes, we're down to 84. Just 4 more, chat. 4 more, and then I am free. I'm the owner of one. I'll count my pocket length. I see 80. No, dude, that's just your eyes getting bad because you're old. Nuh-uh. I think I've seen you on X a moment ago, says the Argonian soldier. No, probably a case of mistaken identity. What's this look? Did I, like, test if I can fly? No, it's probably a bad idea. I'm still here. It got a +4 instead. A +4? Oh. No, that's not true. Hey, I mean, I feel like I'm 50. I'm just joking. Still standing. I will now start to cheat by tilting the camera to the side, so it's at an odd streaming angle. Starts taking pictures. Whoa! I still have my eyes on the viewer account. I'm like looking. Okay. Now the desktop is having the TikTok experience. Oh, so you heard it too, the thing. Yeah, it just gave me an alarm. Chat. Oh my god, I have such a long face. But yes, in go. Shh. You. Skedaddle. Oh no. Why the log face, Gib? Because we are not. Don't you have important government things to do, Bev? Like shutting down a cartel or negotiating with them? Oh my god, I said goodbye twice. Bye. No, late. You're actually asleep right now and you are dreaming. That's the weekend. I'm sitting here eating just had to rub salt in my lasagna-less wound, didn't you, Mr. Bev? Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I do need more lasagna, but a proper one. Yes. The last lasagna I bought was actually the cheapest ones I could get. Excuse me. The proper lasagnas are all. Do you find them in the restaurants? And they're like ridiculously expensive, like $10-12 per plate, and it's just like a few bites. But I actually do like my carbonaras. It's delicious. I've always been eyeing the particular pasta dish where it has a white sauce. And then there's little bits of shrimp on it. Some fettuccine, whatever it is. Back up to Close my tab. Close my tab. Shoo, go to the gym. Fettuccine Alfredo, yeah. No, I'm starting to talk about food again. Shoo. you know, the X above the close tab. Oh no. Pre-Gebus ASMR. I mean, I have my measuring tape here if you want to hear that. It's gonna go. Oosh, oosh. The moment it hits 89, I'm gonna go. There. I'm watching you, 90. Oh gosh, it's not going below 80. What am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be stuck here for 5 hours. Put a pot on your mic and start hitting it. Oh, I want to hurt your ears. Neon Sherry says, "Ooh, I found your tweets finally. I've been seeing you on Instagram for a while." Well, hi there, Neon. You've caught me right as my stream is over. It actually has been over for the past 30 minutes, but for some reason, people are not leaving, so I can't leave in turn. Ask why. It's it's still at 90. I'm sure it's gonna go down to 89. Any moment now, somebody's gonna click another stream, close my tab, like the smart person they are. Yes, I'm free. I'm free. Good morning. Good afternoon. I can say the closing chant. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. And wait, hold on. What's this? You got saved by a first-time chat. Hello, everyone. I just followed because I like this guy, because I wanted to say that I was into the Dutch army. I should ended up accidentally removing a big and powerful member of the cartel. Okay, so you got a lot of XP from that mission. Don't mind my terrible English spelling. No, congratulations. I hope you got good loot. 90 again. Oh, no, it's 89. It's 89 for my POV. See, hold on. I can do it. Hold on. There. See. Oh, you can't see the overlay, can you? Damn. Now, where was I? Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. And good night. Bye-bye, chat. Wait, what? No, I didn't go back to 90. It's not like you can buy my time with money or anything, too. That's totally not an option. Like, it's not gonna help with the funding or anything. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. And good NIGHT. That. Good night. I'll see you around. Okay, you are getting spoiled, chat. I promised 2 hours and a half. You got 3 hours and 35. Look, at least I'll have energy on Monday again, right? So don't fret. Okay, there you go. There you go. Stream's over, chat. It's gone. It's done. It's done. See? It's black. I'm gone. The stream's over. Toot. The streamer has disconnected. You should totally click what's on the left of your screen. Oh, hold on. I saw the magical D word. What's that? I would donate to you and probably quite a lot, but I can't figure out how to connect my bank. Ah, okay. I came back because of the money. Well, I'm totally ignoring the fact that there's 96 viewers. To my eyes, it's still 89. Well, Mr. Cactus Juice, yes, I hope you get to have that resolved. Not because you need to send me anything, but because having that little problem where you want to send support to somebody is a total pain in the butt. Total pain in the butt. If only could read my thoughts, chat. What? Gab, you're the only light in my room and I'm scared of the dark. Please don't go. Well, sucks be you because I'm about to go. Like 100 million %. I'm actually already gone. This is just the lag of the stream that's still transmitting data your end. Yep, I ended stream 30 seconds ago, Cha. You have successfully bought 1 second from an already finished stream. Kyle. One more hour from 1 bit. 1 second is 1 second. That is very much true. Much finished. Very wow. You have successfully bought 1 times 100 seconds, aka 10 seconds. Oh, bro, it's 85. Hurry up. I can see. In my eyes, it's still 96. The moment it updates, I'm clicking the stop streaming button. I can taste the freedom. So close. Freedom being merely an inch away. Soon. It's at 81 Spartan. You are the hero that has updated me of the proper numbers. So I'm gonna end the stream thanks to Spartan telling me that there's only 81. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna do the chant again. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night, Sierra. Bye.
started front act, don't know how to act. Without no vouchers on no boosters, bringing nothing back. You should feel the impact. Shopping with plastic. When the sky's the limit and them haters can't get past that. Watch me as I gas that 4.6 range. Once again, anything change. Every time I switch lanes, it feels strange now. Making a living on my brain instead of cane now. I got the title from my mama, put the whip in my own name now. Damn shit to change now. Running credit checks with no shame now. I feel the fame, come on, I can't complain no more. Shit, I'm the main now, in and out my own game. Pages out of New Jersey from Courtney B, telling me about a party up in NYC. And can I make it damn right? I'll be on the next flight, pancake, first class, sitting next to Vanna White. Come on, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, with three willing in the four with the goldies. Oh, why do I live this way? Must be the money. If you wanna go and get high with me, smoke a L in the back of the Benzie. Oh, why must I feel this way? Must be the money. If you wanna go and take a ride with me, with three willing in the four with the goldies. Oh, why do I live this way? Must be the money. If you wanna go and get high with me, smoke a L in the back of the Benzie. Oh, why must I feel this way? Check. Yo, I know something you don't know, and I got something to tell you. You won't believe how many people straight out of the flow. Most said that I was a failure, but now the same motherfuckers asking me for dough. And I'm yelling I can't help you. Yo, Nelly, can we get tickets to the next show? Hell no.
You for real? Hey, yo, now that I'm a fly guy and I fly high, niggas wanna know why I fly by. But yo, it's all good. Range Rover, all wood. Do me like you should. Fuck me good, suck me good. We be them stud niggas. Wishing you was niggas. Popping like we drug dealers. Sipping Chrissy Bud Mackin. Honey in the club, me in the Benz. Icy Chris telling me to leave with you and your friends. So if Shorty wanna